You're listening to Now, a moral money signal for those ready to see. Not everyone will hear it, but the ones who do, they'll never sleep again. War isn't always what it looks like. It's not just smoke, rubble, and men in uniform. It's also signatures behind closed doors, algorithms in cold servers, and silence wrapped in policy. While the world watches front lines and ceasefires, a deeper war unfolds beneath the surface, a war not for land, but for control. Control of money, control of movement, control of meaning. In Ukraine, in 2023, a grandmother in Lviv finds her pension capped, her withdrawals limited, her currency digitized, her freedom reduced to conditions. All in the name of resilience, they say. Meanwhile, behind glass walls in Switzerland, central bankers smile for cameras. They call this transformation progress. But this isn't new. From Napoleon's Europe to Cyprus's frozen accounts, war has always been the excuse, and control has always been the reward. Every war has two sides. The visible one with soldiers, headlines, destruction. And the hidden one, where capital flows, laws change, and wealth moves quietly upward. While the people fight and suffer, the architects of money watch. They never bleed. They never rebuild. They profit. In the heart of Eastern Europe, as missiles rained over cities, a silent revolution took place inside the servers of Ukraine's central bank. The Zloty, a central bank digital currency, was launched as a wartime solution. But it was more than that. It was a test, a prototype, the beginning of a new system. It promised efficiency. It delivered restrictions, withdrawals capped, foreign exchange locked, purchases monitored in real time, programmable, traceable, and irreversible. A school teacher in Kiev tries to send money to her son in Poland. Denied. A shopkeeper in Odessa sees his account frozen as the local market crashes. Black markets rise, not from crime, but necessity. And behind it all, the Bank for International Settlements applauds. The same BIS that once helped launder Nazi gold now oversees the rollout of digital currency regimes with full surveillance capabilities. This wasn't an accident, it was a model. Just like during the Boer War, when the British Empire needed money and introduced a temporary income tax. It was sold as patriotism, it became permanent. And as the war faded, the tax remained. The people paid. The financiers, like the Rothschilds, who quietly backed both sides, grew richer. Crisis, then tax. Tax, then tradition. A miner in Johannesburg sees his wages cut. A seamstress in London pays more for bread and less for liberty. The pattern begins. In 1914, governments abandoned the gold standard to finance war. Central banks printed and printed and printed. In Germany, hyperinflation swallowed everything. By 1923, a loaf of bread cost 200 billion marks. A pensioner's life savings were worth less than firewood. In Britain, families buried coins in gardens, hoping to escape paper decay. But escape was impossible. Trust was gone. Value was gone. Power had shifted. World War II brought the illusion of rebuilding. But behind the ruins, a new order took shape. At Bretton Woods, economists tethered the world to the US dollar, backed by gold. The Marshall Plan offered billions in aid, but not as charity, as loans, and with them, leverage. American corporations rebuilt Europe. The BIS advised governments. And the dollar, not bullets, became the world's dominant force. A French worker returns to his job post-war. His salary buys less every month. A U.S. veteran watches his savings lose 40% before 1950. And yet, the system rolls on. Deeper, more centralized, more entrenched. And always, the suffering is local. The control, global. In 2013, Cyprus revealed the next phase. One morning, citizens woke to find their savings gone. Anything over 100,000 euros, seized. Not by hackers, by the government. A retiree loses 237,000 euros in one night. Not stolen, restructured, no warning, no vote, just disappearance. The BIS was watching. Because with programmable money, you don't need a crisis to take funds. You just write the rules into the code. The money can expire, it can freeze, it can redirect, automatically. That's not theory. That's the system being built. From Sweden's e-krona to Brazil's drex, central banks are deploying tools that monitor, restrict, and predict. The BIS, now operating from a tower in Basel, frames it all as trust enhancement. But behind the sterile language lies a darker truth. Money that watches you. Money that limits you. Money that can vanish without appeal. And each new crisis accelerates adoption. Meanwhile, the people lose purchasing power in silence. In Ukraine, GDP fell 30% in 2022. Inflation erased pensions. In Weimar Germany, Venezuela, Lebanon, the same script. War, then inflation. Crisis, then devaluation. Those who save lose. Those who control print. And the middle class pays. In 1967, a report surfaced, the report from Iron Mountain. It argued that war was not just about defense, but about maintaining control. That peace, ironically, was a threat to the state. That external conflict justified taxation, surveillance, and compliance. Fiction, perhaps, but reality has followed the script. Problem, reaction, solution, over and over. Fear leads to obedience. Obedience leads to systems that no one voted for. And now, as the war in Ukraine drags on, European leaders prepare the next phase. CBDCs are coming. Capital controls are returning. A €1 million bond may soon be worth a fraction. A UK retiree may find their account frozen, taxed, or geofenced. The digital euro isn't a coin, it's a contract. And you didn't write it. But this story doesn't have to end there. Because for the first time in history, there's a way out. Not a theory, not a hope. A system. A parallel economy. Built not in Basel, but in backyards, fields, and solar farms. BuildCoin is a decentralized security coin earned through real-world contribution. You build a house, you earn. You grow food, you earn. You power your home sustainably, you earn. Real value, real reward. On-chain, verifiable, free from confiscation. A German farmer tokenizes 10 acres of regenerative agriculture. A Portuguese builder installs off-grid homes in exchange for BuildCoin. A UK retiree exits fiat and stores value in a coin that cannot be printed, seized, or inflated. No speculation, no compliance scores, just participation. This is not utopia. It's responsibility. It's work. It's the rebuild after the ruin. And it's already happening. So now we face the choice. Stay in the system that moves from crisis to crisis, from freedom to control, from control to silent theft. Or build something else. BuildCoin is not the answer to everything, but it's a beginning, a foundation, a return to value that can't be manipulated. Visit moral.money. Listen to the stories at Moral Money BuildCoin, because the siege is silent, but the resistance is no longer invisible. It's building. Every day, in every place where people choose to live free.